You are listening to Something Rather Than Nothing. Creator and host, Ken Vellante. Editor and producer, Peter Bauer.
Hey everybody, this is Ken Vellante with the Something Rather Than Nothing podcast. Super excited to have Jadon Allen here. Does design work, fashion, guilt, which I followed since I met him. We met at it was like an Albany art type of thing, Albany, Oregon, and it's great to see you again, Jadon.
It's great to see you too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, everybody. There was a design that Jadon did commissioned for the show. Tough to describe, but in the style that I see it of yours. In my head, the name that I've attached to it is kind of like Jadon's voodoo character design or something, and it was great. I've had a few commissions, but just really loved your style and loved to connect, with artists and local artists. So going back to that, your art and, you're at the table and stuff. Why don't you tell listeners, what you do, why you set up a table, what you design?
Yeah, so I design all sorts of streetwear and street clothing inspired by graffitis, murals. My biggest inspiration is the artist Takashi Murakami. So I pull a lot of inspiration from him and incorporate it into my works. And I love to do markets because it's a great way to connect with people like you, who have a strong passion and understanding of art, and we sort of just get to talk about it and build a connection that way.
Yeah, I really like it. I've been excited. One of the things on the show is I cover a lot of artists and designers and stuff, and in the background, people wouldn't necessarily see the different type of artists where, like, I look at myself, okay, I'd have like a propensity to go to this or that. But one of the pieces I've been really fascinated with in bringing some artists on is, thinking about fashion, design, streetwear. I'm around events. My kids are skateboarders, and I love the vibrant feel of all that. And even in my travels, kind of bump into people like yourself, designing things graphically, and then thinking, what does this look like on somebody, in modeling, in fashion. So on that bit right there, I've seen your stuff on TikTok and social media. Really dig on it. What's that whole element like for you, trying to establish like my shit's cool, like check this out, and wear it? What's that dynamic of things like?
So social media plays a big role if you want to be anywhere in today's world. Pretty much if you don't use social media, you're going to fall behind and people aren't going to take you as credible. So it's sort of something you have to do. Instagram's a great tool for that, TikTok, YouTube, and it's important to be consistent. And I'm slowly trying to build a name for myself throughout Portland, throughout Oregon, throughout the United States. And social media is just a tool to do that. Another tool is the markets that I go to, so it's great.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about it. I kicked connecting to fashion and stuff. I remember I was out visiting my brother out in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and ran into a younger designer, and I got some shorts there. It was an interesting experience because I observe fashion and style. But
yeah,
I really like this unique piece of clothing art. Like I like having that piece that's a unique piece. So I like that, like the feel of that. So with that, is that the kind of the focus of your efforts, like establishing, the brand style and have people say, hey,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really important to try and stand out from other creators and whatnot. Nowadays, you see everyone on TikTok posting like the same 2 or 3 designs that everyone's done a million times. So I think developing your own style is really, really important. And plus, it allows you to express yourself. At the end of the day, it's art, and that's what art's all about, expressing yourself, just raw human emotion.
Yeah, I like some of the visuals, of course. Get to hear some of the music. I'm a big music fan. I know I've heard some
Hmm.
Suicide Boys and some great.
Yeah. Yep.
I
Love
noticed that.
Suicide Boys.
Yeah,
Hmm.
some
Get lots
great
of
sound.
inspiration from them for their videography too. So I
Very.
love what they've done with all their music video work. So definitely pull from that too.
Yeah, my child Aiden's a big fan. It's like one of those things as far as a music lover who hasn't I haven't shut off my mind is I get my like influence of stuff that I listen and plus new stuff, but I get the new stuff from my kids too, and I get really into it.
Hmm.
Suicide Boys would be one of those where I was like, oh, what the hell is this? And really dig the intensity, the intensity.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Suicide
yeah.
Boys are great. I've been to like two of their concerts so far. It's the best thing ever. I love how connected music and art can be.
That's what you said right there. Like the music, art experience, and like the experience of that show. I was saying a particular band,
Hmm.
Suicide Boys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really, really great stuff. Oh, we're talking art, Jaden, and got a couple of conceptual questions. I don't know if I started
Yeah.
talking to you about them when I first met you. But hey, what do you think, art? But one of the ones I wanted to ask is, you've practiced, study art, have a passion for it. What is art? Like what is art for you?
For me, art is what I do to stay sane. It's a creative outlet. It's a way I can connect with people. Yeah, just human expression. Uh, Art is beautiful in the sense that it can be photography, it can be video. It has so many different mediums. Music, as we spoke on. Uh, yeah, art can be anything. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's all about perspective.
What do you think the role of it is? I asked this question too with a little bit of caveat, like
Hmm.
nowadays, because I think there's a challenge, like climate change, political uncertainty. Like, all right, strange stuff is going on in the world. People feel it. Something has changed. Does that change the role of art, or you think like art's just arting and doing what it always does?
I think politics plays a very heavy role in a lot of artwork from different artists, whether it be intentional or subconsciously. Um, Personally, with my artwork, any political messages are always subconscious, and when people speak on them and point them out to me, it kind of like opens me up more, and I learn more about myself that I didn't realize that I put that intent into a piece.
What about what about with fashion and
Hmm.
kind of in streetwear? You mentioned like one of the
Oh
things
yeah.
as far as um uh get like one of the things that fashion can run into is like the perception of like mutability that's going to change quick, that like, and I
Hmm.
know the
Oh,
world
absolutely.
is like that. Do you think when it comes to, I don't know, maybe even the topic of fashion or designing clothes
Hmm.
for somebody being for yourself and somebody else being something different, do you find that there's a challenge
One
within
thousand
that in your
percent.
design?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, in the fashion world, it's really tricky. You have a bunch of supporters, but also a bunch of haters, and that's kind of the cool thing about the art world. Like some people get what you create, and others don't. And sort of back to the politics, I feel like you can find that a lot in fashion. You see companies like Zara, H&M, Forever 21 pumping out fast fashion, and their whole brand is built off of staying on trend and providing the customer with whatever article of clothing they want at a cheap cost just to look fashionable for a piece that may be popular just for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think establishing your own unique style that you can build off and stand out from the crowd uh, is honestly one of the only ways you can do it if you want to survive and build a strong brand that'll last a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like a whole different like arena. I mean, it's same within art, but
Hmm.
there's a different history, different history tied to it. What about so just as far as going back and forth, like I saw some of the stuff you design, draw, layout, and all that stuff, and obviously there's a strong applicability to those images showing up on clothing. Do you still do your work in the terms of like I'm going to create this kind of like static piece or print, or do you still kind of like view yourself and moving kind of between both art piece producer, design, fashion?
Got you. So I feel like I definitely shift between the two worlds depending on what I'm feeling on working on more. It tends to be I create stuff more intended for clothing, uh, but a lot of the times I'll start out with like a painting. For example, like the commission I did for you, that one started out as a painting. You really like the character
Yeah,
that you saw on it, so we built off of that and created a digital piece. And a recent T-shirt in my newest collection. It was the Spring Summer 2023 collection. It's called the Cloudy Tee. Um, that one started out as a painting as well. There was a little character on the painting, and everyone who walked by the booth commented on how much they liked that character. So I figured I should really make it as a T-shirt because the emotion in that character was really strong. So just
yeah.
translate that into clothing, and it was perfect.
The character themselves. I love when artists start to drop it. They're talking like that. I talk to writers, and they're in their head, and they're this character won't change, and like
Yep.
I'm like, help me here on the outside. You're writing the character. How come they can't change?
Yeah, it's been interesting over the past few years just seeing how some characters stay around for since I started and how some just morph into different creatures and whatnot. So it's really cool.
It's such a unique way of talking about it. Drop more and talk some more about guilt. You mentioned one particular I think you might have said spring, but like tell folks straight up right now about guilt, like where to find that stuff, but also maybe some things you got coming up or what you're thinking about for the work.
Yeah, absolutely. So Guilt or guiltpdx is my streetwear brand where I sell t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, all sorts of different like accessories and whatnot. You can find it online at guiltpdx.com, or it's also available in a few select stores in Portland, including PDX Change, Pinky PDX, and a few others. Um, but yeah, with Guilt, I create a collection every spring, summer is one collection, and then fall, winter is going to be another collection. So I do two collections a year. And starting last year was my first annual fashion show. I'm going to be doing another one this upcoming winter.
All right.
Uh, yeah, so annual fashion shows as well.
Yeah, I love to hear. I love to hear about that. I'm gonna start off with the beanie myself, although I might
Yeah.
might go beanie T-shirt, but it's like I I love beanies. Have a few of them, and then it gets to this time of the year, and I'm like, all right, need another beanie or two, and it's
Yep,
like,
time to bring them back out.
you need like speaking of the new fashion, need to bring in
Yeah.
this year's this year's guilt. I want to ask you one of the big philosophy question in the show, something rather than nothing, and to ask you that question. I view artists in general as kind of creating something out of nothing. But I posed the question overall in general is why do you think there's something rather than nothing?
I think there's something because intent was put behind whatever work was created. Um, and although it may fizzle out to something in the future, at least there's something there for an amount of time that people can grasp on and hold close to them, uh, because it struck an emotion and it resonated with the viewer.
Yeah. When you're talking about your design and clothing, and I talked before about the with music. You got music going on in your head with a lot of this. I'm just thinking about creative types of like, of what type of design you think, what type
Yeah.
got that going on.
Oh, absolutely. Music plays a big, big, big role in everything I do, essentially, creative wise. Whenever I'm designing on Adobe Illustrator, like sketching something in my sketchbook, I'll be blasting music on my headphones. Otherwise, I won't be creating if I don't have the music going. So I think it's essential to create for me, honestly. Um, and another thing with music is I love doing music videos as well. I actually have a shoot later this day for the artist Sleezo out of Portland that I'm looking forward to. Uh, and the thing with visuals for music, I think it's really cool how you can translate a song and interpret it uh, to create these visuals that are engaging for an audience.
Yeah, I tell you, there's about videos, music videos themselves. Like I grew up like MTV, like where that was like the video jukebox, and then like there's a massive period that I've experienced of like, yes, videos still being made and such, but like for a long time I wondered like where they fit, like and when people consume them, and I
Yeah,
think you look at things like with like YouTube and people wanted to see these that never went away. Like people, I want to see the video, and I know on the artist side, sometimes it can be kind of tough to put a video together and
totally.
pay for or the way that you want it. So, but it's always great. It's always great. I've been really into these incredible stop motion puppetry animation videos. The band Viagra Boys. But the artist Sissy Framson, who I've had on the show, who's in the band Volcano, um, I love that style, and it's like I love the songs. Like I got into the songs through her mention, and was listening to the songs, and then seeing like you know puppets and like that stop motion.
Yeah,
This is just like another beautiful thing, with the sound, and
yeah.
I'm
That's
glad.
really cool how you
Yeah,
mentioned that you got into them based off of their visuals, because I feel like that's another thing too. Uh, Visual art can play a big role in having someone discover something new that they may have not tried before. I know that's definitely
absolutely.
happened to me where I saw like an album cover that I thought was really neat. I've never heard of the artist, but I just listened to the album because I liked how the cover art worked, and it turns out I love the artist.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, on promoting the show, we're gonna have to have more visuals and video of the what things look like. People love listening to us,
Totally.
but it's like when I'm talking to a painter sometimes, and we get the video here too, and I'm trying to build more within the podcast, the video there. But sometimes, like I'm talking to a painter, and it's like I never went to art school, and I'm good with my language, but how do I
Mhm.
how do I fucking describe like what that mountain and moon looks like in the right side for the listener to know like
Yeah,
why I'm so jazzed about it, right?
they say a picture is worth 1,000 words for a reason.
Exactly. It all comes down to that. No, so it's really exciting to hear, and it's great to hear your work, fashion right in the stores there in Portland. What's that like to see? Hey, you pop in by accident, right? And
Mhm.
what's it like to see your stuff?
Yeah, it's super cool. Uh, all the store owners I work with are great people. Uh, it's really neat that I was able to get to a point where I can go up to store owners, talk to them, and they're down to have my products sold at their place. And it's even cooler when I have friends or random people DM me, "Where can I buy this in Portland?"
Yeah,
I can drop the list of where they can get it at, and
you
it's
can
awesome.
you can give a list because it's tough when you have something, right? It's like
Yeah,
even as a podcast, where I find your podcast. Well, it's everywhere, but that doesn't necessarily help. Like right off the bat, you always need like
yeah,
that little link of being like, "Hey, look at it! It's right here in front of you. You can hear it."
yeah.
Or you can head over to the store and grab it. Jadon, going back, the question I meant to ask was about your identity as an artist. I can feel and having talked to you, see how important it is, and how sensitive you are and how you do it. When did you see yourself as an artist, or allow like things in your head to slide into that and being like, this is me? What's that?
Yeah, so I've told this story in the past, but it didn't get much coverage. It actually started around fifth grade in elementary school. One of my friends, Brandon Stevenson, had started this fake little comic book company. It was called like Derp Dudes Comic Co. or something. And it had a few other buddies in it, like one of my best friends, AJ Van Cleek. And we pretty much just created like little sketches and stapled them together and sold these fake little comic books around our entire grade. And people seemed to enjoy them a lot. And that's where I really found my passion and love for drawing at first, but then that sort of translated into other things. So I kind of just held on to that. And we all sort of held on to that too. Like both Brandon and AJ create their own works too. But yeah, that's where I first realized how much I love art and creating.
Yeah. Shout out to Brandon and AJ. Maybe we can get them on the
Absolutely
podcast. With the show, that's the roads lead. The roads lead from here, and I have a deep appreciation of kind of random chance happenings and being like, let's play together art wise, and and learn. So it's great to hear about everything you got going on. Can you I know you mentioned Guilt before, but just mention specifically any handles, all that type of thing, just to make sure listeners can make sure they find you in all those places, because you're putting a lot of effort into what you're on there. Yeah
absolutely. So Instagram and TikTok is going to be at guiltpdx. That's GUILTPDX. You can find me online at guiltpdx.com. There's my web store, a little mini photo portfolio. You can contact me there. And then my YouTube is also going to be at guiltpdx or Guilt Films. You can find a lot of my music videos. You can watch my fashion show from last year. And I also do a lot of promo videos there too.
Yeah, and about the music videos, how heavy you dropping into that, making and doing more and more of the music videos?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my goals for this year that thankfully I've accomplished so far, and I should accomplish till the end of the year, was to push out one music video every single month. And it's been a great challenge to try and go out and network and meet lots of new people. It initially started, my first music video I did was September of last year. And that's where I sort of realized how much fun I have with video editing, and just kind of fell in love with the process. So from there, once the new year started, I realized I wanted to create a lot more of those. So that's what I started doing.
No, it's great. Look forward to checking out more of that stuff you got going on. I like it. I like the energy back behind it, music, song, thinking of how things look. And even saw in your videos some kind of like behind the scenes shoot, and it's got a good vibe. It's got a good feel, and I definitely look forward to everything you put out. And I'll get onto the website and supply, as a Pacific Northwesterner, originally from the East Coast, but Pacific Northwesterner, supply myself most properly with Beanie Autumn 2023
Absolutely.
For myself. So everybody, Jadon Allen will have the image Jadon did connected to the show. Big thanks for helping me visually present the show in different ways, and like I said, to be able to chat about the other stuff that you do, catch up with you, talk about fashion shoots, music videos. I really look forward to everything that you're doing. And listeners, check out what Jadon's doing. I bumped into him at the Heritage Mall in Albany, and there's lots of things to see, from that meeting. But wanted to thank you so much, Jadon, for coming onto the podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, big love the music discussion. Shout out Suicide Boys, and
Absolutely.
and all the great energy you can have throwing yourself around the show. Take care, man.
You too. Thanks.
This is Something Rather Than Nothing.
And listeners, to stay connected with us and our guests, visit somethingratherthannothing.com. Join our mailing list for exclusive updates and access to guest-created art. If you enjoyed this episode or any episode, please like, subscribe, and leave a review on your podcast platform. People really read that shit. Your support helps us reach more listeners and spread our community across the planet. This is a global show, and we like to give a shout out to our many listeners across the world, including many listeners in Canada, Spain, Germany, UK, Argentina, Brazil, India, Thailand, and so many more places. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Something Rather Than Nothing Podcast for behind the scenes content. And the best way to help the show is to tell your friends about us. If you love it, they'll love it too. Tell your friends who love it. We love you. This is Something Rather Than Nothing Podcast.